offending anybody? Okay.
Never, never.
Okay. The other thing you can do, and again, Google search engines are always modifying their algorithm to, oh boy, they're always modifying the algorithm, so it's not clear how long this will be, but it does help, only if it makes sense, okay? And again, you don't want to be doing something only for the search engine value or the search engine optimization value of it, but if you are going to link to a second page, or if you're going to link on your maybe home page or somewhere else on Facebook to that particular blog post, it's much better the part where it's actually the link, instead of saying click here and here's a link to read, tips. It's better to have the keyword or a more descriptive phrase in the actual link. That's called anchor text. Anchor text is a text that actually is linkable or clickable. Okay? And if you have that ability, it would be good if you include your keyword in the clickable link.
Like in constant contact?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, with constant contact, if it's an email, I'm not sure search engines will pick that, but having that is good practice. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's a tip. There are many, many tips about SEO. If you're using WordPress or actually other content management systems, you can modify what's called permalinks, and these make your URL user search engine friendly. So it has the keywords, it has the category in there, it has the title of the blog post in there. So it gives clues to the search engine as they're trying to index your page, as they're understanding the content about your page, knowing that the keyword is there. So having permalinks that are search engine friendly is important. Keyword density. That's what Deborah was referring to. Sometimes people would keyword stuff. They add that keyword over and over and over again, and it used to work. It used to trick the search engine, saying, "Oh, this is a great blog post that has this keyword, so it must be relevant to somebody searching for that keyword," ignoring the fact that the blog post or that particular page, the content is horrible. So search engines have gotten better about this to figure out if you're trying to stuff it or you're trying to use naturally. You're writing naturally to a human being, and really, I have no recommendation on keyword density. That's not something I look for. As long as you're writing to a human being about the topic, I think you'll do fine. Okay, and also focus on keywords that are relevant. So if instead of using computer virus, you can use PC virus, or maybe viruses for PCs versus viruses for Mac. So using those different keywords related to computer, actually Google can give you value on that because you're trying to cover a topic comprehensively. You're not just saying computer PC, computer PC, computer PC all the time, right?
I always get caught up in how many times should I put the word Tucson. So I put Tucson computer repair instead of computer repair. It makes it a pain because sometimes you can't fit it because it's longer.
Right.
Right. I noticed a couple of my competitors, Tucson this, or Tucson that, Tucson this, Tucson that.
Yeah.
Should I be doing that? Maybe.
Well, my recommendation is just for that stuff is don't follow a specific formula. I know an SEO expert might disagree with me, but that's doing it for individuals. That's the best way to do it. If you already optimize your meta tags and your content, including the keywords helps. But if it's not natural, I wouldn't use it. Sitemap. It's very useful to have a sitemap on your site, and there are generators that can make that easy for you to generate a sitemap. And then it tells the search engine, this is my site, these are all the pages that are on my site. So it makes it easy for the spider bots to know about new pages and can index all the pages that they weren't aware, the search engine was not aware of it. Link building is another topic that I think is very controversial in my opinion. Some SEO experts, again, might disagree with me, but my recommendation is to keep it completely natural. Okay? Don't contact somebody, say, I'll link to you if you link to me. If you get those, please ignore them, unless you know the person. Okay? And unless it makes sense to your business. Okay? If you have a friend who's a computer expert, maybe in Pennsylvania, you can write a blog post and talk about, if you're in Pennsylvania, please see this person. But don't overdo it. Okay? And don't do it just for the sake of SEO, because search engines have gotten better and better about detecting whether you're actually trying to link build actively or you're doing it naturally. And let's find what actually Google say in the Google Webmaster Tool. And you can search for questions. This particular page is about link scheme, right? And it talks, the first half of it talks about how link building can actually hurt your page ranking if they feel that you're trying to trick them, okay? But then the second paragraph, they say, the best way to get other sites to create relative links to yours is to create unique, relevant content that can quickly gain popularity in the internet community, okay? So that's what they're saying, is create valuable content, that way people willingly, without you even asking them, build links to you. build or link to your site. Okay. Again, so you'll have access to that particular link, or if you search Webmaster Tools, you'll be able to find more information about Google's guidelines for this. Build My Rank Network. This was actually, it was on the news recently. I didn't know about it before.
Shut them down.
They did. So they were a network that actually built links for people, and they had, you know, you could subscribe to them for $60 a month or $59 a month, starting at $59 a month. And from what I understood, it did very well. It was very legitimate, and they did everything by the book. But then they announced on March 19th that they were shut down. They were de-indexed by Google. So that was their blog post. It's been a great run. They helped a lot of people, but unfortunately, all the links on there got de-indexed. Or in other words, Google changed their algorithm saying, you know what? We don't value all these links. So all the work that you've done, all the fees that you got from your clients are no longer valuable. Okay? So again, this is an example. And again, from what I understand, Build My Rank didn't do anything fishy. They didn't do anything shady. It's just Google changed their algorithm and therefore did not place any value on those links anymore.
So they can screw up any sort of strategic.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's the premise of SEO. You're trying to optimize your site. I think I've said this before, so I apologize if it's repetitive. You're trying to optimize your site to please a third party, Google. And Google has every right to change their own business model to have, because their product is search results, right? So if they feel that, you know, you're doing something that's not working out for them or not providing the most relevant results to their clients, meaning people searching on Google, then they're going to change that, and you can't control it.
They're not going to let you hold hostage because you're playing
Right.
games. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes people, you know, kind of, there's casualty, you know, in everything. So that's why if you rely on Google only, you know, that's good. There's a lot of traffic that come from that for free, but I would always encourage people to diversify their traffic sources. Another reason why keyword search is maybe a little bit misleading or may not give you the results that you're looking for is that there's this concept of long-tail keywords. So you're writing about what is a computer virus, right? But people sometimes search for other related keywords. So they add, you know, I'm having a computer problem, what is my computer virus? Someone will be searching for that, right? And they will probably find your site if you have those words. Or maybe instead of searching for what is a computer virus, is what is a Mac computer virus, or what is a Mac virus, right? If you're providing those keywords in your content, if the search engines feel that you're providing content about that, they'll serve your blog post even though someone is searching for what is a Mac virus. They're not searching for what is a computer virus. Does that make sense? So Google will send you search results for keywords they didn't optimize for if they feel that your page is relevant about that keyword, right? And that's the examples I use. I've actually shown this screenshot before. You know, so those are two examples, and in the first one, it says that there are 379,000 keyword visits from 210 different keywords, 210,000 different keywords. I'm pretty sure the owners of those websites did not try to optimize for 210,000 keywords, okay? So, and you'll notice that in your own Google Analytics, if you have that set up, you'll notice that there are keywords that Google is sending you traffic from that you didn't even try to optimize for. It's always a pleasant surprise. But as you write content that relates to your topic and specific keywords, but you're also covering other things in that post, then Google will send you traffic for that, for different keywords, so that specific blog post.
Those are the long tails.
Yeah.
And do you try to find, I think we talked a few months ago, about trying to find what those are and putting them in your posts?
You could do that.
What are
You could do that.
popular long tails?
Yeah, and so maybe your primary keyword is what is a computer virus, but you can use the keyword tool to find what other keywords. That maybe you don't want to necessarily rank for that, only for that keyword, but having those keywords would help. And again, you're arming yourself with information that you know is useful, right?
And that's not necessarily for your meta tags, that's more for like a blog post.
Yeah, the content.
You'll fill up your meta tag thing really quick.
Right.
Okay.
And again, the source of that article, it was a case study, is on there. So I think we covered this, and I think we're right on time. So we covered this, so I won't belabor these points, but your focus of your blog is to start with a problem, find a keyword, and create useful, relevant content to somebody searching for that keyword. I mean, that's the simple lesson, okay? When you do that, people will link back to generously. They'll, you know, if they find a blog post very useful about any topic, they'll automatically, if they know that there's a friend or someone else who's struggling with the same problem, they say, hey, check out this page. It has useful information about everything you can do when you have that problem. Oh my goodness, we didn't even cover this. So, completely forgot about this piece. Actually, didn't forget about it. I just. So the slides will be on the web. But headlines, you can imagine, are very important in writing your blog post, okay? And the reason why headlines are important is if you look for any blog post that talks about what is the perfect blog post, or what is the most shareable blog post, what is the timeless blog post, you'll always see headlines in there, because headlines is the first thing people see. And you know what? People judge a post by its headline, or you know, people also judge a book by its cover, but they also judge a post by its headline. If the headline sounds interesting, they will read it out of curiosity. So if it catches their attention, they'll read it. If it doesn't, they may just skip over it.
Can you do that just by bolding?
Not in the headline. The headline actually gets special SEO value because it has an H1 tag, and that's what Google places the most
So
value.
you have to go to the HTML part
No,
and
no.
put.
The title automatically for a blog post.
Oh, the title is the headline.
Yeah.
Oh,
Title.
okay, sorry.
I thought you meant like
Yeah, other
Headlines
headlines
and the
inside.
blog. Oh, well, that's
like bolded.
Oh yeah, well
Bolded
that's helpful too
subheads.
actually, but that's more for the user-friendly presentation of your site.
Okay.
Okay.
So these are incredible links. I'll highlight one important one next slide, but these are very useful if you're trying to get ideas for headlines or titles for your blog posts. And there's actually, the last one is by a gentleman called John Morrow, which I talked about earlier.
Oh, he's famous.
And he is famous. And he created, he actually has a PDF you can download on his he's created a specific website called headlinehacks.com. And if you don't check the first two, I would recommend getting that PDF. So go to headline, if you're writing your notes, headlinehacks.com. And it will look like this. And you'll see that at the very top, you'll see that orange, get this report for free, enter your email and download, and it'll send you a PDF of 52 different hacks. And basically they're formulas, and they're broken down by topics. So if you want to kind of create a curiosity, you can use this formula. You can say, you know, 7 ways to, and then, you know, benefits or something like that. And they have he has 52 different ones, and I think they're genius. I think they're amazing. And again, they're proven, they work really well, and they catch people's attention. So I would highly recommend getting that free report by John Morrow. Okay. Presentation, I think, is important for your blog post as you're writing a blog post. Just to keep in mind that people are reading this. If it's a long piece of text, they may not read it. They may gloss over it and skip information. So using photos is great. I recommend Flickr because it's free. When you go to flickr.com, you'll see an advanced search feature which will allow you to search for Creative Commons, because not every picture on Flickr you can use in your blog post. So if you click on the advanced search feature of Flickr, it will let you find the pictures that have a Creative Commons license that allow you to use your pictures on there, assuming you give credit in the blog post, but that's very standard. Even very large blogs, they do that. They say image courtesy of this or that, or you know, this person or that person. As you're using images, there are alt tags that you can add, and again, this is if you're using WordPress and you're uploading an image, in the description of that image, if you use the keyword in there, that again is giving more indication that to the search engine that your keyword or that image is about that keyword. So it adds more value to that keyword, to your blog post, in your blog post.
Is it best to put that image in as a link or to download it and actually put it in?
If you just, either way, I don't think that's,
Either way?
yeah. I actually don't recommend linking to an image because most people, you know, they may not click on it, or they click and they see a bigger size.
Well, I mean, is there a way, if you put the link, that it would actually download that picture and it would appear?
In WordPress, yeah. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
It's easy.
The paragraphs, keeping, I think I mentioned that, as you're writing paragraphs, keeping them short and precise is great. Using headlines and sub-headlines to break up the content, that's also useful to your audience as they're reading your blog post. And finally, the thing I wanted to talk about, and these slides are actually repetitive, or they're similar to ones I presented previously, is that the tone of your blog post You want to try to be authentic and unique. There's a lot of information out there. You have a lot of competitors who may also be blogging, so it's very important to present your own unique angle on things. Adding personal experiences is great because it adds fresh perspective, and your competition doesn't have your same experiences. So if your experience relates more to your person reading your blog post, they will connect more with your blog post than perhaps the competitors, right? Having that knowledge, having your expertise, adding that with your experience, that adds a story, that adds a narrative that people can appreciate and follow you for that because they appreciate it. I mean, I knew nothing about John Morrow for maybe a month ago was the first time I heard his name, and now I love everything. Everything I see by him is just great, you know. And that's the person I didn't know, and I'll follow him just because I know his story. I know what he went through. I know what he's trying to do. Being authoritative, again, if you're trying to be, I'll finish up here in a minute, I'm sorry. If you have to go, please don't, I won't feel that you, because I know I'm going over time. So being authoritative is very important if you're trying to be an expert, to try to portray yourself as an expert, right? And these are some tips on how you can appear to be authoritative. So having the authoritative headlines, the headline hacks that you will hopefully download will give you headlines that will make you look like you're the expert in that. If you tell somebody, these are the 7 ways to do something, then they know that you've done the good research, they know that you're presenting them with 7 things you know that work. Okay? So it will immediately put a different spin on your appearance as an expert. Okay? But then again, the content has to deliver. You can't say the ultimate guide to something and you're just providing something that everybody knows, or you're providing things that are not comprehensive. Okay? I like Seth Godin, and his blog is typically very concise and very
Offbeat.
yes, offbeat, but also it challenges you, right? Sometimes.
Makes you think.
Yeah, and that's a good way to be authoritative. You're saying things very powerful in a very, not in a very long post. So you're very concise and you make the point, and people appreciate that, and that's it. Being comprehensive. So again, that goes along with the headline. So if you're promising something in the headline, you have to deliver that. And so sometimes you have to kind of dig a little deep, provide examples, but also go wide. So not only you're presenting a problem from one angle, you're presenting it from different angles. And again, it goes back to your personas. You may very well be able to target different personas of your blog, even though it's a topic that can relate to all of them, but in different ways. So using those examples will hit all the specific needs that each persona has. And also very important is it has to be relevant to their problems and their questions. Right? So if it's relevant and it eases a pain point or solves a problem that will help somebody, and they're more willing to share that information with somebody that they know is facing the same problem. And this, again, may not be relevant to everybody. You're presenting original research. If Deborah, for example, you found out that you've done a study, for example, just not an official study, but something that the best way to grow eggplant or the best way to take care of something, that presents you as an authoritative figure in that field. Engaging your readers is obviously very important. There's different ways you can do that. And make it easy for them to participate and share your content. I've shown this slide before. There's many different ways where you can engage your customers and ask them to share that information. And if they like the headline and the content delivers, I think there's no reason, and it relates to their problems, I think they're why not share with their followers, right? So the reason why all this matters is that having helpful content, having content that addresses problems of your target audience, of people you want to do business with, or people who want to hire you, and having a catchy headline, having something that grabs their attention, and reading it, that's probably the formula that gets blog posts shared the most often, right? So if I connect with a blog post and it addresses a specific need that I have, I'm more likely to share it than just a blog post that, oh, well, I've read this before, or maybe it's not unique in any way. These are links. I didn't plan on going over them, but I think they'll be very helpful. These are some ideas. If you're struggling with some ideas, you can use these links to generate some ideas. These are great additional resources, again, to promote your blog post, elements of really good blog posts, and the anatomy of a better blog post. So these are all helpful links. And as you're doing all this research and as you're doing all this information, it's important to keep the second ear active. You want to use the information that you're gathering and translate it into useful content to your potential market audience or target audience. And finally, the last piece is the last slide I promised. Making sure that analytics or a similar product is set up is very critical because you can evaluate if you're measuring what you're doing, you can figure out what's working and what's not.
Great.
And that's it.
Thank you, Tracy.